love your cat more than anything in this world. You buy the best food you can afford, you make sure their bowl is always full, and yet, without even realizing it, you might be slowly destroying their health with every single meal you serve. What you're about to discover in this video isn't some internet myth or exaggerated clickbait. These are the silent mistakes that veterinarians see every single day, the ones that lead to kidney failure, diabetes, obesity, and painful conditions that could have been completely prevented. The worst part is that most of these habits feel like acts of love, like you're doing the right thing for your furry companion, but the truth is far more disturbing than you could ever imagine. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what you're doing wrong and how to fix it immediately. So make sure you watch until the very last second, because the fifth mistake is the one that catches almost everyone off guard. And if you find this information valuable, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss another video that could literally save your cat's life. One of the most common and deeply ingrained habits among cat owners is leaving a bowl of dry kibble out all day long, assuming that cats are smart enough to self-regulate their food intake and eat only when they're truly hungry. But this assumption is fundamentally flawed and goes against everything we know about feline biology and natural hunting behavior. In the wild, cats are obligate carnivores that evolved to eat multiple small meals throughout the day, typically between 10 to 20 tiny prey animals, which means their digestive system is designed for bursts of protein-rich nutrition followed by periods of fasting and physical activity, not a never-ending buffet of carbohydrate-heavy processed kibble sitting in a bowl 24 hours a day. When you free-feed your cat, you're essentially removing the natural hunger-satiety cycle that keeps their metabolism functioning properly. And what happens over time is catastrophic. Their insulin response becomes dysregulated, they start storing fat instead of burning it, their liver becomes fatty and compromised, and before you know it, you have a diabetic cat who needs daily insulin injections just to survive. Studies have shown that over 60% of domestic cats are now classified as overweight or obese, and free feeding is the #1 contributing factor because it encourages mindless eating out of boredom rather than genuine nutritional need, turning your beloved pet into a sedentary, metabolically broken creature who has lost all connection to their natural instincts and is now trapped in a body that's slowly failing them from the inside out. That cute little plastic bowl you bought at the pet store, the one with the adorable paw prints or your cat's name written on it, is silently causing problems that most owners never connect to feeding time. And the reality is so disturbing that once you understand it, you'll throw every plastic dish in your house straight into the garbage. Plastic is a porous material that develops microscopic scratches and crevices over time, even with regular washing, and these tiny imperfections become breeding grounds for bacteria, mold, and other harmful microorganisms that transfer directly onto your cat's food and then into their digestive system with every single meal. But the bacterial contamination isn't even the worst part. Plastic bowls are the leading cause of a condition called feline chin acne, which appears as black spots, crusty bumps, and painful inflammation on your cat's chin and lower lip area, often misdiagnosed as allergies or skin conditions when the solution is as simple as switching to stainless steel, ceramic, or glass bowls that don't harbor bacteria. Additionally, many plastic bowls contain BPA and other hormone-disrupting chemicals that leach into food and water over time, especially when exposed to sunlight or heat, creating a toxic cocktail that accumulates in your cat's body and can contribute to thyroid problems, reproductive issues, and even certain types of cancer. The irony is that owners choose plastic because it seems convenient, cheap, and easy to clean, when in reality they're creating a petri dish of contamination that their cat is forced to eat from multiple times every single day. Where you place your cat's food bowl might seem like a trivial decision based purely on convenience for you, but to your cat, it's a matter of life and death instincts that have been hardwired into their brain through millions of years of evolution. And getting this wrong can cause chronic stress, anxiety, and even complete food refusal that leaves owners baffled and worried. Cats are both predators and prey in the wild, which means they have an incredibly strong instinct to keep their food source separate from their water source and as far away from their elimination area as physically possible. Placing their food bowl anywhere near their litter box triggers a deep primal alarm that screams contamination and danger, making them feel unsafe and stressed every time they approach their meal. Similarly, putting food and water bowls right next to each other goes against their natural behavior, because in the wild, water sources near dead prey could be contaminated by the decomposing carcass, so cats instinctively prefer to drink water from a completely separate location, which is why so many cats seem to ignore their water bowl but happily drink from random cups, sinks, or puddles around the house. The feeding location should also feel safe and secure, meaning your cat needs to be able to see approaching threats while eating. So, placing their bowl in a corner where they have to turn their back to the room, or in a high-traffic area where children and other pets constantly disturb them, creates a chronic, low-level stress response that affects their digestion, their immune system, and their overall mental well-being in ways that accumulate over months and years into serious health consequences. Here's a fact that should terrify every cat owner who relies primarily on dry food. Cats have an incredibly low thirst drive because they evolved in desert environments where their ancestors got almost all of their moisture from the prey they consumed, which means your cat is biologically programmed to not drink enough water to compensate for a dry kibble diet. And this chronic dehydration is silently destroying their kidneys with every single day that passes. When a cat eats a mouse, bird, or other natural prey, they're consuming food that's approximately 70 to 75% moisture, providing all the hydration they need without ever needing to seek out a water source. Compare this to dry kibble, which contains only about 10% moisture at best, and you begin to understand the massive hydration deficit that builds up over time in cats fed exclusively or primarily on dry food. The kidneys are responsible for filtering waste products from the blood and producing urine. But when there isn't enough water flowing through the system, these delicate organs are forced to work overtime, concentrating urine to dangerous levels and creating the perfect conditions for crystal formation, urinary blockages, and the gradual breakdown of kidney tissue that eventually leads to chronic kidney disease, which is now the leading cause of death in cats over the age of 10. What makes this even more tragic is that kidney damage is irreversible. Once those nephrons are destroyed, they're gone forever. And by the time your cat starts showing symptoms like increased thirst, weight loss, and vomiting, they've already lost approximately 75% of their kidney function, leaving you with nothing but expensive treatments that can only slow the inevitable decline rather than restore what's been lost. The fifth and perhaps most insidious mistake is one that almost every cat owner makes with the best intentions: finding one food that their cat likes and feeding it exclusively for months or even years at a time, believing that consistency equals stability and that switching foods will upset their cat's sensitive stomach. The truth is that this monotonous feeding approach creates multiple serious problems that compound over time, starting with the development of food allergies and intolerances that occur when the immune system is repeatedly exposed to the same proteins day after day without variation, eventually triggering inflammatory responses that manifest as skin problems, digestive issues, vomiting, and chronic conditions that seem to appear out of nowhere but are actually the result of years of dietary monotony. Beyond allergies, feeding the same food exclusively means your cat is getting the exact same nutritional profile every single day. And while commercial cat foods are formulated to be complete and balanced, no single formula can perfectly meet every nutritional need, which means subtle deficiencies or excesses accumulate over time in ways that don't show up until significant damage has already been done to organs, bones, and metabolic systems. Perhaps worst of all, this approach creates what veterinarians call food fixation, where your cat becomes so accustomed to one specific taste, texture, and smell that they refuse to eat anything else, which becomes a life-threatening problem if that food is recalled, discontinued, or becomes medically inappropriate due to a newly diagnosed condition that requires a prescription diet. Suddenly you have a cat who would literally rather starve than eat unfamiliar food, putting you in an impossible situation that could have been completely avoided by introducing variety from the very beginning and teaching your cat that different foods are normal, safe, and nothing to fear.